Ryan, appreciate you taking a couple of minutes with us. I mean, obviously, life has changed for just about everybody in the past year, and I would assume that's also the case for you, both on and off the ice. Maybe start by shedding some light on the balance of being the captain of an Anaheim Ducks team now, and also, running a household with 4 kids running around and a wife, and all the duties that are included with that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everything changed for everyone in the world. We're still working through our things here at the rink, much like everybody is in the workplace. It's a moving target all the time, and we're happy to be at the rink, obviously, and back playing, but there's definitely some obstacles we're working through. As for running the ship at home, I don't think that's my category. My wife does a pretty good job running that ship, and I try to help out where I can when I'm home. So with our schedule right now, with all the, day on, day off, it's I just fit in where I can, and my wife points me in the right direction.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Paige in just a bit here. Now 15 plus seasons wearing a Ducks sweater in the NHL. And you look back on how the journey has gone. If you look back at maybe the 2003 guy who got drafted in the first round and came into the league, I mean, that's a long distance and a long time in this league. What would you maybe say to a young Ryan Getzlaf?
Enjoy it, man. It's the biggest thing, I think, when you come into the league as a young player. It ends up going so fast, and like you said, we're 15 years in now, and I still look back at those memories of my first couple of years, and obviously I was fortunate enough to win in those couple of years, but just looking back at the guys I came up with and stuff, it's that's the biggest thing, is just take it in and enjoy it.
Speaking of some of those guys that you came in with, and then when you were a young player and playing with so many good veterans in those early years with the Anaheim Ducks, now you're that veteran, right? You've been the captain going on 10 years now for this team. Do you hear yourself repeating phrases that maybe those guys used to say to you?
Oh, more than you can imagine. It's funny. Every older player, I'm sure, goes through the same thing where they're trying to help young guys, and as a young player, you're listening, and sometimes you believe it, and sometimes you're just like, come on, this guy's over exaggerating or whatever it is. But it definitely comes full circle all the time, and those guys help me out so much as a young player, and I'm trying to do my best I can right now.
Is there one particular guy that maybe sticks out for you? I mean, when I think about like Niedermeyer, I think about Solani, I think about Korea. I mean, all those guys that you spend time on the ice with.
Yeah, I mean, you name it. There's a big long list there that of guys that I was able to learn from and take little different things from. And I don't know if there was one guy. I sat beside Tamo for a long time. The one thing Tamo definitely rubbed off on me was to enjoy each day. He had a lot of fun when he was at the rink, and tried not to take things too seriously until we got on the ice. So he's one guy that I've looked up to and obviously sat beside for a long time.
It's a rare breed nowadays that you spend time in the NHL or in sports alone with one franchise and wearing that one sweater for the entire time. I imagine there was a ton of factors that have gotten you to this point.
Yeah, obviously it takes both sides. When you have one organization that's dedicated as much as they have to me, it has to equal on my side, and I've tried to represent this organization to the best of my ability since the day I got here. I think that Henry and Susan have a vision for this organization that really aligned with the way I think and the way I operate. And obviously, both sides have been able to come to an agreement every time there's been a contract issue, and been able to stay and be fortunate enough to be part of something and feel part of a family here.
2019, you hit the 1,000 games in NHL mark, and now you're really close to hitting that 1,000 point milestone in your career. I know you've always been a team guy in the way you've played both on and off the ice, but what would that mean to you to hit that mark at this point in your career?
Yeah, it's cool. That I've never been an individual stat guy. I feel like those stats kind of take care of themselves if the team's succeeding. So, but it's a milestone. It's things I've been hitting along the way here as you get older and in one organization or in the league. It's cool when you look at the company you join and get to be a part of. So if I am able to get to that milestone, it would be a great day.
Let's focus on the team itself. This is a pretty young Anaheim Ducks team. While it's been a little bit of rough sledding as of late, with the way that the NHL has realigned the divisions, I think we've seen that if you go on a pretty decent winning streak, all of a sudden you can catapult yourself right back up in the standings. How have you guys in the dressing room been able to stay on that same page, and how do you maintain the focus together so that you can find one of those streaks?
Yeah, it's hard. Again, another obstacle this year that we're going through. A lot of times when you go through rough patches throughout the season, you kind of draw back on other experiences and try and figure out a way to bring the group together. Um, and this just isn't one of those times because of the COVID and all that stuff. A lot of the team building stuff that helped bring you together, you're not able to do. So we have to find a way to do it on the ice and practice, those kind of things. And our group's been buying in. We've been doing a lot better job at playing the game that we want to play. We got to find ways to put pucks in the net, and I think that can change our whole fortune.
One thing that could certainly help change fortunes would be a couple of wins against your Freeway Series rivals. That's just around the corner as you have a couple games on the ice to match up against the LA Kings. From a fan perspective and from an outsider perspective, I mean, it's a great rivalry. But what is it like in the dressing room for you, the players, and maybe what sticks out from that rivalry over the course that you've been in it?
Well, the nice thing is that both teams have been really competitive over the last 10 odd years, and that's how you build rivalries. Is you're both competing for something, and traveling up the road to LA, the fans and everybody into it, and that's what makes it fun. That's what makes hockey fun, is when you see all the fans, you're getting booed or you're getting cheered in your own building or whatever it is. Those are the things that build those rivalries, and we really enjoy getting on the ice and getting after those things.
You've played in a lot of those games, Ryan. I mean, is there one or two particular memories that you think of when you think of a Kings-Ducks Freeway Series rivalry?
I mean, obviously the playoff series is big. Anytime you go into the playoffs against somebody and win or lose it, it was going to be a battle all night. And I think that, my biggest memories are probably from my younger years when it used to be a real battle, and we used to have to fight our way out of the building sometimes and stuff like that. And those are the things that create that bond within the group and lasting memories.
Yeah, the names on the back of the jerseys have certainly changed over the years, but when you look at what's on the front of the jersey, right, there's still that, I don't want to call it a hatred, but when you step onto the ice, you know that you have to mean business on that night.
Yeah, for sure. That's that's just it. When you, like you said, the crest hasn't changed, the organizations haven't changed, the fan base hasn't changed. It's something that we really thrive off of.
Let's go off the ice a little bit with you here, Captain, and talk about you've had a great list, and we referred to it earlier, of teammates in your time playing for the Anaheim Ducks. But one of the really cool things was what happened earlier this year with Angelique Fong and her being named the 21st Duck. I watched the video and I was moved by it. You were part of that emotional Zoom call when she popped on there and learned that she was going to be the 21st Duck. It's a great tribute that the organization does, but I had to imagine there was some emotions for you too when you popped on that Zoom call and spoke with her.
Yeah, it's such a blessing for us as athletes to be able to hear people's stories and touch them in that way. It means so much to her for us to just show up on the call, and it's a very humbling experience because it meant even more to me to be able to hear her story. And in such tragedy, she made such a light of things and able to help other people, and talk about a selfless act. That was just a great story to be part of, and to jump on that call with her and first meet her. And we've had a little interaction since then, and we were able to bring her down to the rink here and let her have an experience that hopefully she'll remember forever.
I think she certainly will remember it. And I think also you and some of your teammates will remember it. I mean, there couldn't have been a dry eye in the house for that moment when she walked out on the ice and I saw her looking up and she noticed that it was you and all of your teammates and the signs that were sitting there at center ice in the stands to salute her. It's something that probably obviously she's going to remember forever, as she said, but also your teammates will remember as well.
Yeah, we're full of new experiences right now, and obviously, the 21st Duck we've been able to do for the last few years, and unfortunately this year the fans couldn't cheer for her and be in the building, but to have the players all buy in and be able to go up there and see it from the other side was kind of cool.
We mentioned your wife, Paige, and the tremendous work that you and her have done with CureDuchenne. I believe it's going on 10 years now. How difficult has it been maybe to pivot in this last year, because you can't do the typical things that you've done in terms of a charitable endeavor to reach out and help with all of that? How difficult has that been?
Yeah, it was tough. Last year was our 10-year anniversary, and we developed such a relationship with a lot of these people that are involved in the organization. And my wife and I were very disappointed this past year not being able to do our event and carry things on. Hopefully, getting back on track this September to build things again and start working towards another goal with the organization. We've been able to accomplish a lot over the 10-year span, and but there's still lots of work to be done. And my wife and I both take very much pride in being part of that organization and the things that they're hoping to accomplish.
Well, I know that you have on the calendar, and fingers crossed that it can happen, the Golf with Getzlaf tourney coming up in September. You can go to CureDuchenne, that's DUCHENNE.org for more information. Fingers crossed, as I said, that we get those dates and can hold them up on the calendar. But what would it mean to be able to step back out, and not just the golf part, obviously, of it, but in the end, it's all the money that is raised to help cure a dreadful disease.
Yeah, it's been incredible. The support that we've had over the last 10 years through organizations, through individuals that have really embraced us, the organization, and shown up every year with their pocketbooks open and been able to raise so much money, which makes the biggest difference in the world for these kids.
Lastly, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you. You see guys like Tom Brady now and Drew Brees and what they're doing, world-class athletes like yourself, Ryan. Do you think about maybe where that, for your playing time, where that end goal is, or do you have a vision in your mind of what you're kind of looking
I can promise you it's not 43 years old, but
at?
I don't really have an end goal at the moment. Part of my makeup is to focus on now. I try not to look in the future too much. That's kind of something that I've always believed in throughout my whole career, and contract stuff and whatnot kind of takes care of itself. Like I said, this organization has been great for me, and hopefully they've enjoyed having me here. And throughout this season, we're just trying to push this organization where we want to get back to, and we'll let the contract stuff take care of itself as the year goes on.
Classy as always, Getz. Continued success both on and off the ice, and we'll see you down the road.
Thanks, Brendan. Appreciate it.